Alright, testing, 1, 2. Alright, testing, 1, 2. Alright, it's up and running. Hey everyone,
Cool.
How are y'all doing? This is the Artpack Podcast. This is our first attempt at ever doing this, so we're sorry for being incompetent and uncharismatic. But I'm Wolf47. This is my friend Nate. Say hi, Nate.
Yo. Hey.
Tonight we're gonna be starting off just talking about upcoming Nintendo and other video game projects. This podcast I plan on doing, it's just gonna be a general geek nerd sort of podcast, so we'll talk about things other than that, cartoons, animation, video games, movies. Right now, me and my friend Nate, we're huge Nintendo fans, and there's a lot of Nintendo news that's happened in the last few months that I want to talk about. So let's start with the big one. Next week, Smash Brothers comes out.
Woo!
So I'm pretty sure everyone's excited about this. Nate, are you excited?
I'm stoked. Absolutely stoked.
And again, so we're just gonna give our general thoughts and go into it a little more. Me first. This is going to be an amazing game, I can already tell. Like, the first thing I want to do is the story mode, because if you've seen the Nintendo Direct, where it just shows everyone getting murdered except for Kirby.
Everyone dies except for Kirby. Everyone is dead.
Spoiler alert. Probably should. You know what? No, you should have seen that. It's your fault for not seeing it. Yeah, I'm excited about that, because that's actually my favorite part from Brawl, was the actual coherent story play which
Go ahead.
Like, I missed that in the Wii U and 3DS version, and again, unpopular opinion, but I actually think Brawl is a much better game than most people give it credit for. Like, again, Melee's probably the best, but I think Brawl is probably second, in my opinion. And a lot of people will say the first Smash Bros, which I get that, but it's a pretty dated game by today's standards. But yeah, I'm super excited for the story mode. I'm really excited about the character roster, because it's so massive. And basically, I don't even have any fears of overhyping, because Smash Bros, you basically know what you're going to get right off the bat anyway. So, how about you, Nate? What's your thoughts?
Well, I was just thinking about the story mode, because you were talking about how excited you are that it's going to be kind of like the Subspace Emissary in Brawl, and I'm kind of one of those people that enjoy spoilers, so I kind of have already seen the cutscenes in the in Ultimate, and it's not as like there isn't that many of them. I think there's like maybe like 5 or 6, and it's not like, so you have the opening that you saw in the Direct, but in terms of like on-screen appearances of characters and stuff, like, there's only one that has Mario in it, and it's for like 5 seconds. The rest is just Galeem, which is going to be the main antagonist of the story. And then, have you seen the leaked cutscenes at all? I want to make sure so I don't spoil it for anybody.
I haven't, but you can talk about them anyway.
Okay. So you got Galeem, and then I guess there's this dark counterpart of Galeem, and they like just show cutscenes of those two interacting, but it's not really as focused on the characters as it was in the Subspace Emissary. So I remember reading in the comments on YouTube about how they were disappointed that it wasn't going to be like Subspace, and I remember Sakurai saying in an interview that his purpose behind it wasn't supposed to be like a sequel to Subspace. It was supposed to be something new altogether. So I'm actually kind of excited about it. Like, I think it's cool how they made the concept of spirits where you're fighting as, you know, the characters in Smash Brothers, but like they're taking on like they're supposed to be another character in a sense that their fighting styles and the way that the matches are, it's supposed to be like you're fighting another character, and I think that's an interesting concept, and I'm really looking forward to trying that out. But I think the one mode I'm most excited about is the classic mode. Now, have you heard anything about it?
That's
about the classic mode?
Is that like the arcade mode for this game?
Yeah, so it's the single player mode, and it plays like the original solo player mode of the original Smash Brothers. And what's cool about Ultimates is that each character has their own like path that they go on, and based on your character, you either get to fight Master Hand, you can fight Giga Bowser, you can fight Ganon, and there's a couple of more cool bosses. You get to fight Dracula if you're, I believe, playing as Simon Belmont, Richter Belmont, and Luigi, I think. I'm pretty sure there's one more, but I remember reading on the wiki that you'll fight Dracula when you play Simon, Richter, or Luigi.
Okay, that does sound pretty awesome.
Yep.
So, alright, next we should talk about stages and characters, because this has an insane roster. It's going to have a lot of stages as well, and this is actually the first Smash Bros. Where there's going to be downloadable content later on. They don't have anything planned, but they do have it for sale already, which, you know, Nintendo is kind of on a competent level. They're new to downloadable content, because let's be honest, they've never really nailed it before the Switch, at least in my opinion. Yeah. So what characters are you most excited for? What stages, and what sort of characters or stages do you want to see down the line, man?
Honestly, the only reason why I'm going to be buying this Smash Ultimate is King K. Rool. Like, as you know, my favorite animals have always been and always will be crocodiles. And ever since I was little, I was a huge King K. Rool fan. Like, I remember when I was like 7 or 8, I actually dressed up as him for Halloween. I just took a generic green T-Rex costume, and I got a crown, and I got gold bracelets, and I, tied a red blanket around my neck so that it would be his cape. So when I saw the trailer that he was going to be in the game, I lost it, and I never get like emotional towards revealed trailers, but King K. Rool was the only one where I was like, oh my god, make me actually pull K. Rool! Ah! Oh, do you remember? Have you ever seen the that Donkey Kong show that they used to have on Fox Kids?
Yeah, that CG thing.
Yes. Okay. I used to be obsessed with that show, despite how corny and ugly the animation was. Like, I don't know if you've how many episodes you've seen, but like in the first season of Donkey Kong Country show, like it was okay, but when you go to see the second season episodes, like you can tell that their budget got cut because the quality of animation is just garbage in comparison.
God, one, that show has always been terrifying, and it has not aged any better. And two, do you remember any of the musical numbers?
Yes. They get stuck in my head all the time.
You're the first person, because everyone I've known that does know that show, myself included, we've all basically tried to block those out of our head. I only know they exist because I watched the death battle of King Kong versus Knuckles like yesterday, and they brought those up. And I completely forgot that those were actually a thing.
Wait, what was the thing?
The musical numbers in Donkey Kong Country.
Oh yeah, that's one of the reasons why people hated it so much, because they were annoying, they were corny. Like, the only good thing was like was when Donkey Kong sang. That's what a lot of people say, because like I guess they actually got an actual singer to do his songs, but other than that, everything is cringe.
Yeah. So are there any stages or other characters you would want to see in Smash Bros? Because they are planning to add at least 5 in the
Yeah, so
DLC.
I mean, in terms of the stages, I mean, there's really not a lot to say, because most of the stages that's going to be an Ultimate is the ones that they're bringing back from previous installments. Like, for new stages, there's Dracula's Castle, there's New Donk City, there's Moray Towers, there's the Breath of the Wild stage. But I mean, like, they don't have any new Metroid stages, they don't have any new Star Fox stages, they don't have any new Kirby stages, which I was actually pretty surprised about, because, you know, Sakurai is the director of Smash Brothers, and he's also created the Kirby series, so you'd think that maybe he would, you know, throw in a new stage from one of the newer games, but that didn't happen. There's no new Pokemon stages. Like, I was actually a little disappointed with the lack of new stages that they have in Ultimate, but as you said, we're getting about like 5 new ones, so it should be interesting to see what they're going to be adding onto it. What do you think? How likely do you think it's going to be that they're going to put Banjo-Kazooie in there? Because I know with the Grinch leak, there was, you know, they said they were going to include Banjo-Kazooie, Gino from Mario RPG, McRider, the Chorus Kids. I feel like I'm missing someone. Banjo-Kazooie, Gino, Chorus Kids, McRider. Who am I missing?
I have no idea. Like, Banjo-Kazooie...
Make Ken and Shadow. It turned out Ken is going to be in it, but pretty much everyone else was... You know, everyone else was either a Princess Trophy or has yet to be revealed. So...
Yeah, I really hope they put Banjo-Kazooie in. That would be amazing. I highly doubt it's going to happen because they're owned specifically by Microsoft right now.
Yeah, I mean, like, if this was, like, if Microsoft hadn't bought out Rareware, like, there would be no doubt that we would see Banjo-Kazooie in a Smash Brothers title, but I think because of, you know, the buyout from Microsoft, it's a lot harder for Nintendo to get, you know, get them back for Ultimate. Because, like, you know, Rareware, they developed Donkey Kong Country series, but, you know, Donkey Kong, King K. Rool, Diddy Kong, they were already a Nintendo. They're already owned by Nintendo, so they didn't have that obstacle of getting the rights to them for Smash Brothers, as they would with Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah, and I
Who knows?
remember, like, back when the 3DS Smash Bros. Was out, Microsoft said they'd be willing to try something, but I question that just because how licensing and rights work. I'm sure they would want more money than standard.
Mm-hmm.
Now, since we are getting at least 5 new characters later on, I would like to see, like, either they go, like, super insane, or they go with people that really should be in it. Like, I would like to see Mr. Sandman in it.
That'd be interesting.
Trying to think. I would like to see, like, indie game characters like Shovel Knight or Hollow Knight.
Well, he's already an assist trophy, so I don't think he's gonna be a playable character. Cause like I'm sure you've seen the outrage that Waluigi fans had when they saw that he was gonna be an assist trophy again, because they thought for sure he was gonna be a playable character, and then, you know, there was the E3 trailer. They saw he was an assist trophy, and then some of them actually started sending out threats to Sakurai, which was just crazy. But
and can I just say,
yeah,
I love the fact they make Piranha Plant a playable character before Waluigi.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that took a lot of us by surprise. Like, you know, when I heard the final boss theme from Mario 3 picking up, and I saw, you know, the Mario background, like, I knew they were going to announce the Mario character, and I thought they were going to announce Geno, but then it turned out to be Piranha Plant, because the final boss theme from Mario 3 was also in Mario RPG, so I thought, ooh, they're going to be announcing an RPG character from Mario RPG, but no, it's Piranha Plant.
Oh man, the internet reaction to that was insane. But yeah. But since the Switch is also like the first time Nintendo's actually been heavily involved with third-party games, I would actually love to see them bring more of them in. Like, I'd love to see, and I want the insane, like, M-rated characters to be dragged in. So I want Dragonborn from Skyrim. I want Doom Guy from Doom. Then they also have, like, Monster Hunter on there.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if there was a Monster Hunter character as a DLC fighter.
Yeah. Or at the very least, some assist trophy. Or a stage.
Well, I think the list of assist trophies has already been put out on the internet, and I might have to double check, but I'm pretty sure there isn't a Monster Hunter representative as an assist trophy. Like, I know Rathlos is going to be a boss and assist. Oh wait, no, Rathlos is going to be an assist trophy, so never mind, we got a Monster Hunter representative. But I think, you know, that'll be it, unless there's like DLC.
Yeah. But aside from that, the only thing I would be more excited about than third-party characters would probably be just the most insane troll characters. Like, we have Piranha Plant, let's get Goomba in there, or let's get the Beavers from Donkey Kong 64. Just the most obscure...
Oh, the naughties.
Yeah, the most obscure, pointless characters, and give them fighting characters in Smash.
Well, I don't think that the Beavers from Donkey Kong really have enough to go on in terms of making a moveset. Like, at least Piranha Plant had something, but the Beavers, they just are basically the Goombas of the Donkey Kong games, where they just, you know, go across the screen and basically do nothing but walk into you.
Well, what they could do what they did with Rick and Kirby Star Allies, where it's actually each move is a different character, like a collage.
Oh yeah.
I think that would be interesting. And then, let's see. Actually, would we be able to get Rayman into this? Because I know Nintendo.
That's an interesting question, because I know that he appeared as a trophy in Smash for 3DS and Wii U, so it could very well be possible that they could put Rayman in as a DLC.
Yeah, and they've had the exclusive games with the Rayman Rabbids, which I hope they aren't. They can't be in it. That's the one like troll character I really don't want to see. Yeah, there is a surprising amount of things you could put into Smash Bros. Because it's, again, this is a much more fun style fighting game, not the hardcore tournament kind, where chaos and anarchy are wanted. So that's
right.
A huge part of what I like about it. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this game a lot. And then...
Yeah, me too.
Now let's switch topics now.
Alright.
So, let's head into movies for a bit. And recently we've had a huge online breakthrough. We have the first live-action Pokemon movie coming out. And we've got the trailer for Detective Pikachu. So, I want you starting this off. What are your thoughts on this?
Alright. Well, I don't really know what to make of it, because, like, I know it's going to be something different, but when I first saw it, actually the first thing I thought of was you, and you contacted me and saying, "Oh, we need to see this. This looks so awesome. So different, yet so awesome. We need to go see this." And I thought, yeah, I think this could be worth checking out. I mean, like, as you probably know, they've announced the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Now, we haven't seen anything about that yet, but I have seen some of the, stuff regarding its production, like, that's going to be live action, and Jim Carrey's going to be playing the role as Dr. Eggman, and Green Hill isn't this like tropical like island, it's like this little town. Like, I just know right off the bat it's gonna suck. But with Detective Pikachu, it actually has a chance of obviously it's gonna be different, but I think it's gonna be, a good movie in its own unique way, if you know what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, with Sonic, it's basically going to do just as bad as the Mario movie, if not worse.
I mean, going off topic a bit, I'm kind of curious about how this Sonic movie is going to play out, because they've had a lot of actual talent put into it. Like Alex Hirsch, the guy who wrote Gravity Falls, he was hired on as a writer, and they've cycled through a lot of different people working on this script. But
I feel like it's kind of like... Go ahead.
And Jim Carrey, not gonna lie, he is actually one of my favorite actors. I think he's really devoted to whatever role he gets. So, although that should be Danny DeVito, let's face it. Danny DeVito is he's the perfect Eggman, isn't he?
Yeah, for sure. Now that you mention it.
Like, that's what kills it for me. I love Jim Carrey, he's awesome, but you just blow perfect casting. But yeah, Detective Pikachu, and I don't know if I would say I'm excited for the film, but I am intrigued and fascinated.
Yeah, that's basically how I felt when I saw the trailer.
Because, again, part of me gets it. It's all about Pikachu. He's easily the most popular Pokemon. But why Detective Pikachu?
I don't know, because, like, it makes me wonder, like, they have the 3DS game Detective Pikachu, so is it supposed to be a movie based on the game, or did Nintendo make the game with the movie in mind? So, like, it'll be interesting. I haven't played Detective Pikachu, honestly, so
No.
I don't know.
As far as I'm aware, it's like one of the least popular Pokemon games. And the movie...
Huh. Even more so than Hey You Pikachu?
Hey, I liked Hey You Pikachu as a kid. That was a stupid, gimmicky game for kids, but I know a lot of people who liked it. But yeah, it's... Again, it's so weird just seeing that. I keep expecting it just to cut to Deadpool trolling us. Because it is Ryan Reynolds. And we've heard about this for a long time coming, but I don't think a lot of people actually believed it. And it's just so weird actually talking about it. Shit. Still there, man? Nate, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I just messaged you to see if you were having any difficulties or anything.
My Wi-Fi just cut out on me. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, even just trying to generally talk about this film is weird because I don't know what direction to take.
Right. I mean, like, here's the thing. Like, with Detective Pikachu, like, you know, they're gonna be, you know, somewhat faithful with the source material, but with Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie that's coming out, like, I'm just seeing everything that being put into production right now, and it looks like they're gonna be taking the Mario movie route, where it's gonna try and stay far away from the source material as possible, and the producers and directors are probably gonna just try and do their own thing with it, you know?
Yeah. And I'll give Detective Pikachu this. It is actually really interesting to see how Pokemon would look in the real world. Because...
yeah, I mean, I think it's... Go ahead.
Like, it is still very obvious CG, but you'll kind of forgive that. It's Pokemon. And, again, it ranges from really awesome looking to really terrifying looking, because Pikachu looked amazing, Charizard looked amazing, and then you get some that are just horrifying to look at, like Jigglypuff.
No, Mr. Mime is pure nightmare fuel, yeah. Let me tell you.
That might as well be Pennywise, honestly. Pennywise or Krusty the Clown. Although it really makes me want to see Jinx in this world. An old school Jinx.
Oh boy, that Jinx. I don't know. I don't know who will look more terrible, Jinx or Mr. Mime. Probably Jinx.
Yeah, I am intrigued in going to see this film because it has some serious talent. I get a sense of world building from this trailer because it establishes like Pokemon training as a career path, a lot like a sports path.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
It shows that people do end up failing at that, which I think that's actually a nice kind of change of pace. Because you get the cartoon and everyone's a trainer, and there's like no established way of making or surviving this way. Whereas this Pokemon world, it is framed much more like the real world. So yeah, I'm interested in seeing this.
Oh.
And that's not the only Nintendo movie that's planned for production. There is the Mario movie being made, and it's being handled by Illumination Entertainment. Now, we haven't seen anything from that. We haven't seen a teaser trailer. Nate, you there?
Oh, there you are.
Hey. Sorry about that. My internet's been acting up lately.
Is it snowing in Rochester right now?
Not right now. I did a couple days ago.
Oh, I was wondering if it had something to do with the weather.
Nah, it's just we have crappy internet. Plus, my room is the farthest from the receiver, so I have the weakest connection. But anyway, back on topic. The Mario movie by Illumination, we haven't seen anything yet. We haven't really heard much from it, but we do have confirmation that it is happening.
Right.
So, what's your take on that?
Well, let's start off with the good thing about it first. The good thing is that we know that Shigeru Miyamoto is going to be involved in this project. Like with the 1993 live-action Mario movie, like there was no, involvement with Nintendo or Miyamoto, so we get that crap show. But with Miyamoto, like, I have confidence that they're gonna make something at least, something that's in good quality. Now, I've never been a big fan of Illumination. Like, when I was visiting family for Thanksgiving, they all wanted to see the new Grinch movie that came out, and I saw the trailers for it, and I'm a big fan of the Grinch, but something about the trailers just didn't really appeal to me. And plus, I know what Illumination did with the Lorax, and I'm just as much of a Lorax fan.
Right.
Just how they handled the Lorax, so I don't have any plans on seeing the Grinch. Now, knowing that Miyamoto is going to be involved in this project, I would be willing to give the Mario movie a chance. So, I don't know, as long as they don't make it like a Mario version of Despicable Me or anything like that, I think it would be good.
Yeah. Although going on what you just said, I did hear one reviewer I watched, they said the perfect thing, that the Illumination already made the Grinch movie. It was Despicable Me. And from what I've heard, that is actually much more faithful to the Grinch character than the new Grinch movie. But I will give Illumination this, that they are a lower budget studio. They don't throw as much money at their productions like Disney or DreamWorks can.
But yeah, that's true.
In terms of animation, I don't think they've ever been low-key. Like, the stories and the writing are their weak points, because...
Right.
And Lorax is a perfect example of this. Like, the story and the product placement and all that stuff, that was horrible, but aesthetically, it looked exactly like a Dr. Seuss story would look in 3D.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, I think their animation is beautiful, but like you said, it's their stories and stuff that they really fall. That's their, like, down point. Like, I haven't seen any of the Despicable Me movies. Like, I've seen, like, bits and parts of it, like, when I've been traveling and stuff, but I haven't actually sat down and watched the whole movie to form my own opinion on it. So I'm not really sure if it's that good as people say it is, but I don't know. Have you ever seen any of the Despicable Me movies?
Yes, I've seen the first two to completion, and I've seen, like, the first fourth of the last one. And, again, in all fairness, they do have some solid comedy to them. And they're not trying to be Pixar-level films. They're just enjoyable sort of popcorn films, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I think that's necessary in the market.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, I am happy to hear about Shigeru's involvement, but I am still somewhat cautious, because we know he's involved. We don't know how much influence he's going to hold, though. Because...
Oh, that's true.
Like, films are the hugest, like, these really huge collaborations, and there's so many different departments just clashing against each other to get everything done, because you have the writers, you have the actors, you have the film crew, you have marketing, you have the creative staff, and then you...
Yeah, and, like... Go ahead.
Sorry, you also have, like, the editors, and then you have script changes after everything's done filming. And then Patton Oswalt actually has a great bit about this, where he got hired on as a writer or a retoucher for animated films for a while. And the films are like 80% done by the time he's hired on to do it, so they won't make those changes. So his job is basically just writing jokes to play over the boring scenes. I love his response. It's just, I didn't know you could make a comedy out of a boring action film like that. And he just goes on, like, can you do that with, like, Schindler's List? Just have off-screen jokes. And it's funnier than how I'm describing it, because I describe it like a horrible person. Yeah, I'm not sure if they're just bringing him on for, like, aesthetic things and only gonna make him, like, an executive producer and then shuffle things around so his input doesn't go through. Or if this will be like a Mrs. P.O. Travers level event where he'll hold all control and force him like that to do his way. Which I would hope that's the case, because I would love 20 years from now to see a Saving Mr. Banks movie about Shigeru Miyamoto and Illumination. Like, they fly him out to the Universal Studio, they sit him down, they get him a chauffeur. I would pay to see that movie.
Yeah, one of the things that you mentioned, which I should probably discuss, is about the actors in this movie, because that's one of the big questions that a lot of people are asking about this movie. Like, who's going to end up playing Mario? Are they going to bring Charles Martinet, the current voice of Mario, to voice him in the movie? Are they going to bring, another actor? Like, it'll be interesting how they do casting in this movie, because like I hear like a lot of mixed things about Bob Hoskins and his role in the Mario movie. Like personally, I think he was a good actor in it, but it was just that he was working with crappy directors. He was working off of a crappy script, so
Right.
obviously his.
Yeah, that goes on to what I just said. Like, it's a collaboration. Like, no matter how good Part A is doing, Part B could screw it up like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, I guess my biggest fear would be that they change the voices too much. Because they have voice actors for Mario, and I would be thrilled to just see them put in the movie. Which, again, they're either going to, what my fears are, they're either just going to get big name celebrities for pull.
Right.
Or they're going to change a lot of the voices from the original, because, let's be honest, Mario isn't exactly the most PC character in terms of the fact he's probably the biggest Italian stereotype I can think of.
Well, I mean, like, it's kind of like Mickey Mouse, where his like voice is so iconic that like he can't, like, Charles Martinet can't be like replaced. So they would have to either like bring him to do the voice of Wario, Waluigi, if they're going to be in there, and have him voice the characters for the entire movie, or they're going to bring an actor that's going to kind of like replicate Martinet's voice.
Yeah. But I could just see marketing coming in and throwing a huge fit over it, just because, like, not even just marketing, like the legal team. Which, again, I'm sure that won't be as much as an issue, because Mario is such an iconic staple. But, and I'm going to hold off on forming an actual opinion until we at least get a synopsis, because,
right.
Again, I'm curious what you would do with a Mario film. Like, we've seen it tried before, and it's usually been insane things.
Well, with the live action movie, like I said, it was, the writers and the directors, they were, they took the Mario series and tried to make their own, they tried to do their own thing with it instead of staying faithful to the source material and working off of that. So that's why I'm really glad that Miyamoto's on board, because I think, again, depending on how much they'll let him get involved with the project, just having him be on board can maybe just help guide them in the right direction and making sure they stay faithful to the source material and stuff like that, because I know that Nintendo's taking a big risk with the new Mario movie because of how awful the live action version was. So hopefully, things will turn out good for the project.
Yeah. Well, it's still pretty early on. Once we start hearing more about it, we'll talk about it again. But
now, when's it coming out? I can't remember when it's coming out, or when I can't remember when they said it was scheduled to come out. Isn't it like 2020?
Yeah, I think it was like summer 2020, which, again, Illumination is a lower budget studio, and they actually make their movies a lot faster than a lot of other studios, so I see that in the realm of possibility. So we should be hearing something about it, or at least be getting a teaser trailer by summer.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they reveal it during E3 or something.
Yeah. Like, another thing I'll give Illumination, they know how to market the hell out of their films.
That's very true.
Once they have advertisements, you never stop seeing them.
Yeah, and then, they do all these partnerships with, like IHOP, and I forget the car that they did for the Lorax. Like, they were partnering up with some car brand, and they were marketing it as just environmentally friendly vehicle with...
And it wasn't. I know that for a fact. Dude, the Lorax was just like the biggest money whore I've ever seen, even by children's film standards.
Yeah, and that's why I literally hate that movie with a passion, because the message is, environmentalism, and yet, they were using the Lorax for profit, and they just, they didn't really focus on the message. Like, the message was there, but they didn't really really drive it home, like, say, they did in the animated version. Like, have you seen the animated Lorax?
Yeah, the 70s one?
Yeah. Like, that one drove the message home a lot better than Illuminations did, where I still remember, like, renting it from, like, Blockbuster, and I watched it, and I remember that ending where it's the unless, and it has the boy walking away, and then the credits roll. And I didn't see the movie by Illumination, but I just remember hearing something about how the Lorax actually comes back and, like, tells the kid that, he did good for helping the environment by planting the trees and stuff. Like, I think that kind of just beats out the whole message where...
Yeah, they did. It
was more talking to the character in the movie versus the movie talking to the audience, where it's like, okay, the kid's gonna walk away and hopefully bring back the tuffula trees, and that motivates the audience. But if they're gonna just see the character, plant the trees, and then the Lords come back and say, hey, you did good, it kind of doesn't give that audience a connection that the movie's making, Oh,
no, yeah, the old school animated one and the original book, they trusted their audience to be smart and not stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Where the
yeah.
CG one kind of talked down to its audience a lot.
Yeah.
Although that does bring up an interesting question I didn't really think about. How are they going to handle advertisement and product endorsements with the Mario film? Because that isn't their property, that's Nintendo's.
I remember, like, that when before the Mario movie came out, like, I know that Nintendo did most of the marketing. Like, I remember Nintendo Power. They had their own booth at expos about the Mario movie, and showed off some of the animatronics. So I think they're going to rely more on Nintendo for the marketing, especially the gaming audience versus the general audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can really see Nintendo being a big part of the marketing for the movie.
Yeah, it's not like they're strangers to it or anything, so that's a fair point. Alright, so let's take a quick break from Nintendo. Thanksgiving, there was a big announcement. The Lion King teaser finally came out for the... I refuse to call it live-action Lion King. I will call it CG Lion King, because that is what it is.
Accurate. Yep.
So, I'm assuming you've seen the trailer.
Of course.
Alright, so what's your basic thoughts about it?
Well, first off, I just want to say that I'm totally not a fan of the remakes that Disney is doing with their movies. Like, they remade Cinderella, they remade Jungle Book, which is actually an okay film, but they've also remade, they're remaking Aladdin, they're remaking Dumbo. What's another one that they've done?
They're making a
I don't know,
second
but
Jungle Book.
Wait, they are?
Yeah.
I haven't heard about that.
I think it's Disney. I know Netflix is making a Jungle Book film too. But I'm pretty sure I saw like a teaser for...
Oh, and there's... Oh, yeah, and then they remade Beauty and the Beast, which is... probably next to Lion King, the second most successful Disney movie ever made. So, when I saw that they were remaking Beauty and the Beast, I asked myself, why are they doing this? Like, Beauty and the Beast is, like, perfect. Why do they need to make a remake of it with Emma Watson and CGI? Like, it's honestly one of the most, like, the original Beauty and the Beast is one of the most beautiful animated films I've ever seen, so.
And do you know who Lindsay Ellis is? She's a YouTuber. She actually has a really great video on that. Hang on, we got disconnected again.
But granted that they have a really great cast for it, I'm honestly willing to give this movie a shot when it comes out. So I don't know about you. What are your thoughts about it?
Well, first of all, Nate, I just need to tell you, you kind of got cut off there for a moment. Like, once you were talking about Beauty and the Beast. But, again, piggybacking off what you said, like, do you know who Lindsay Ellis is on YouTube?
Who?
Lindsay
No.
Ellis. She's a YouTuber. She actually has a really great video on the Beauty and the Beast remake. It's called Thanks I Hate It.
I'll have to check that out.
And it's basically about how the Beauty and Beast remake was just so they could do a woke washing and fix the nitpicks up. And I want to put air quotes around complaints people have around the original one about how, like, the Stockholm Syndrome and all that stuff. But she has a great video about it.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, check her out, everyone. But
I will.
And the majority of the live-action remakes, my preferences, I actually do think that I support them given the proper time frame. Like Jungle Book, Pete's Dragon, which was actually an amazing film, and Dumbo, which I'm looking forward to Dumbo because that's directed by Tim Burton, who's one of my favorite directors. So.
Oh yeah.
That one I'm really looking forward to, and those ones I'm far more accepting of because those were the ones from like the 50s or 40s, and since they're like so old, it makes sense to try and reignite them and keep them in public interest.
Right, and when you were talking about Dumbo, like, I think a remake is necessary there because, you have the crows, and obviously that now comes off as racist, so that part of the movie hasn't aged, so I think now that they're remaking it, that they could, like, do something that's more
Like, I'm really
appropriate.
hoping the crows are gonna be goths, because it's Tim Burton.
Oh, it probably will. They probably will.
But, again, like, Dumbo, that's prime for a remake, because there's, like, so little actual story to it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do a lot with that. You have a lot of, like, free room to roam. And Tim Burton, like, for better or worse, he is the guy who tries to remake everything like the way he would have made it, while still trying to be faithful enough to the original adaptation. Like, again, sometimes that works really well with, like, not Edward Scissorhands, what am I thinking of? Sweeney Todd and Big Fish, those were amazing jobs, and then you'll have other times where it fails, like Dark Shadows and the Alice in Wonderland movies.
Oh, yeah. And then Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Because wasn't that directed by Tim Burton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, again, like, the Dumbo, I've seen the trailer for Dumbo, and I think it looks amazing. They knew to put Danny DeVito in it.
My only complaint about the Dumbo movie is that, like, I think they added, like, I didn't really like the way they added human characters to it. Like, I thought, like, having it be, like, you know, dumb mouse. I think it was, I feel like, I don't know, like, the original, I think, was more about the animals and a few characters be a big part of the plot with the new movie. I think that kind of just takes away from that, you know?
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't think Timothy had any, like, speaking roles in the trailer. Like, I remember seeing the mice, but, like, they were just, like, generic mice, circus mice. Like, they didn't really have any anthropomorphic traits about them like they do in the original.
I mean, I can kind of understand it because Dumbo is a silent protagonist. And the original film, it's a really short film. I think it's only like 40 minutes, if I'm remembering right.
I haven't seen Dumbo in years.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Again, if they're trying to stretch it out to like a 2-hour mark, I can kind of understand putting the kids in there.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I've seen so far, it, like, visually, it looks striking. Like, we get a hint at the pink elephants, we get, like, again, there hasn't been, like, too much focus on it, but we do see, like, bits of the circus, if you pause at the proper moments. And I love Tim Burton's style. Like, even if it's a bad film, it's great eye candy. So,
for sure.
I'm definitely excited about that one, but again, as for, like, on the opposite end of that spectrum, films like Aladdin, The Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, those are just cash grabs to me, because
I mean, like I said, they're perfect. Like, the originals are just perfect the way they are. Like, why do they need to remake them?
Yeah, especially since they're, like, so current. Again, it's very much banking on nostalgia factor for those films, which...
Yeah, for sure. Especially with Lion King.
Yeah, and so far, it seems like it's going to be a shot-for-shot remake.
I don't know, because I read somewhere that they're going to be cutting out the Be Prepared song, and I remember reading that, and I was just so pissed, because that's my favorite song in the original movie, and I was just so mad when I read that they were cutting out Be Prepared for the remake. So I don't think it's going to be a, like, shot-for-shot remake.
Yeah.
Because obviously they're leaving out Be Prepared for whatever reason.
Well, it's like the same woke washing that Beauty and the Beast got, because, like, Be Prepared, that's actually like rotoscoping Third Reich films. And
oh yeah, that's true.
So it is technically literal Nazi imagery. So I imagine they're trying to. I'm sure marketing wants that cut out just for stupid reasons.
But I mean, they could, but they could still do the song without, doing that, without doing the hyenas goose stomping in front of Scar. Like, they could easily just do something else with it and keep the song in there instead of just removing that altogether.
Yeah. Yeah, this just feels so pointless to me as a film. And the Aladdin reboot we're getting, at the very least, they have the genie being cast as Will Smith. Which...
No, like Robin Williams is irreplaceable. Like,
I know, but if you're going to get anyone...
Like, I don't know how I feel about them casting Will Smith, but, like, Robin Williams was the definitive genie. Like, nothing's gonna ever beat him by a long shot.
And again, a lot of that movie was made by Robin Williams. Just the countless hours of improv he filmed or recorded for that Aladdin, because he went on for like hours on end for tangents of just random improv. And that's what made the character great, which, again, I think if they're forced to do it, I do think Will Smith's probably the best choice for Genie, because he is the most charismatic character I can think of. But I doubt it's going to be improv, which that was a huge part of the character. Yeah, anyway, the Lion King remake, this feels like the most pointless to me, because you're not... Again, if this was... If they were using actual live lions and animals, and... Do you remember the 101 Dalmatians live-action film?
Oh, yeah, with Glenn Close?
Yeah, the one where they actually remade it, and it's almost shot for shot, but it's like modern day, and the animals don't talk.
Right.
Like, if they were doing that, I would have tremendous admiration and respect for this film, but... And, again, benefit of the doubt, we haven't seen any of the animals talk, but they are just...
Right.
And lions and various animals are a lot harder to tame and direct... excuse me, than a bunch of dogs.
For sure. Well, I mean, and plus, where are they going to get the animals from? Because, like, how are you going to be able to, like, choreograph a rhino? Like, are they just going to go to Animal Kingdom and do it, take one of theirs? Like, where are they going to get them, you know?
Well, there are animal tamers that actually tame big, large animals like that.
Right. I mean, like, and plus, I don't see a lot of that in movies anymore, because, like, a lot of movies do CGI now, so really, they just, do computer-generated animals instead of using live animals, which probably...
Like, I don't really blame them for that.
Yeah, because you have, like, the animal rights activists, they get all mad and say, they're abusing animals behind the scenes and stuff like that, and then that tarnishes the reputation of the movie. And so I think in order to avoid that, they just use the computer-generated animals.
Plus, I don't think you have to be afraid of the CG models getting loose and attacking someone.
But for sure.
Yeah, just from what we've seen, like, even the artwork or the CG work on this film, it just looks kind of dull to me.
Really? Because, like, I saw it and, like, I don't know, like, as you know, I went to Africa last year, and when I saw the film, like, I thought it looks beautiful. Like it looked almost like the landscapes I saw when I was on my safaris, almost. So I honestly thought that the graphics were stunning.
See, but to me
And
that's...
the animals were like, go ahead.
See, to me that's just imitating. That's kind of boring to me. Like, again, I think the Jungle Book remake on this had the leg up because they had it stylized. Like, their animals, like King Louie was larger than life. Shere Khan had these great scowls and facial expressions to him. Ka had these like amazing sort of hypnotic eyes on him, and that was like a style over reality, which I think you should do if you're going to be all CG, because if you're just going to try and make them look as realistic as possible, it's only going to look like very convincing CG. But again, since we the audience know it's not there, I would much rather see it like stylized. Alright, so what were you saying? Sorry.
Huh?
What were you saying before I ended up cutting you off? About the artwork?
I forgot. Yeah, I forgot. Like, I just remember I was saying, how it reminded me so much of the landscapes I saw in Africa, and the animals just look so realistic. But you bring up a good point where, it's if they're trying to keep it as realistic as possible, then, it's basically just them trying to show off, how well their CGI is. But if they kind of try to stylize it, it kind of makes it different and unique.
Yeah, which, again, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt for now, because the only one we've seen up close is the baby Simba. Like, I don't remember seeing, like, Rafiki's face very clearly.
I remember it.
And babies aren't exactly, like, the most detailed-looking creatures, so we don't know how it's gonna end up looking.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I actually didn't catch this when I first saw it, or even the second time. It took some of my friends who are wildlife people point this out, and for me to take a look at it the third time. But if you look carefully at the trailer, you'll see that they actually have an Indian rhino instead of a rhino from Africa, which kind of confuse some people, because in Africa there are white rhinos and black rhinos, and there's other rhinos in the world. I'm getting off topic here. My inner wildlife person. But anyway, there's an Indian rhino when they should have put in a white rhino or a black rhino, since they're from Africa. But I remember in the original, like, they had anteaters, which are from South America, in the Can't Wait to Be King segment, and there was another animal they had that was out of place. I think it was gorillas, because The Lion King is supposed to be set in, like, Tanzania or Kenya, and gorillas, they're found in the rainforest of Central Africa. So seeing that gorilla there was kind of out of place. So I don't think it's really that unusual to have a non-indigenous animal in the remake of The Lion King. But I remember reading the reactions from my wildlife friends, and they were just like, there shouldn't be an Indian rhino in this. Why isn't there a African rhino? So, like, I don't know why they put it in there, but I'm not too surprised that they did,
I mean, on one hand, that could just be an oversight, but on the other hand, that could just, like, hint at they're not doing too much research, because you'd be surprised, like, how much focus and effort goes into these extremely minute details that in the background are just going on. Which, again, it's just like the trailer, we don't know much.
Right.
But
Now,
yeah,
that's coming out this coming year, right? In 2019?
I think so.
Yeah, summer of 2019.
Yeah. So, like, I'm definitely more interested in the Detective Pikachu film than this. And to be
Yeah.
perfectly honest, even Sonic the Hedgehog, because, like, good or bad, Lion King's gonna make money.
Yeah.
I'm almost certain it's just gonna be like the safest, most marketable film they can have. But Sonic
Right.
the Hedgehog, that could either be surprisingly good or it's going to be a beautiful disaster.
It's
Which,
gonna be. I'm gonna say it's most likely gonna be a beautiful disaster. Because, like I said, just what I've been seeing out of like production, it's basically like just how far away they're straying with the source material. Like I could just see this being a Sonic version of the Mario
mm,
movie.
but even then, that there is the argument: what's better, the safe and boring or bad and memorable? Like most people would rather want it. Most people would rather see a train wreck than a parked bus.
True. But I don't think the Mario movie was even that memorable for a lot of people. Like people saw it, they were hyped about it, they saw it, and then they came out, disappointed. And then got to keep it in consideration. This came out in May of 1993. Jurassic Park came out a month later, and as you know, that blew everybody out of the water. And they were like, "What's the Mario movie?"
I mean,
Because like just
I remember the Mario movie for just how what the hell ugly it ended up being.
well, I remember my first time seeing it. I rented it from Blockbuster. I remember I was there with my mom, and this was around the time I was starting to get into Mario. And she saw the movie. She showed it to me, and she's like, "Hey, Nathan, look at this! I have a Mario movie." And I'm like, "Oh, that's weird, but interesting." So we ended up watching it. So we ended up renting it. I watched it that weekend, and I wasn't I didn't think it was a good movie by any means, but I kept watching it to, see if there was any point in the movie where it would redeem itself. And I remember the scene where where we first see Yoshi, and Yoshi was my favorite Mario character at the time. And when I saw Yoshi in the movie, I I stopped the movie, took it out of the VCR, and literally had my mom return it to Blockbuster.
Dude, Yoshi was terrifying in that film. He,
No, I was like, what the hell did they do to Yoshi? That's my favorite character. And I was like, I can't watch this anymore. And I had my mom take it back to Blockbuster.
no, you know what happened? The Yoshi in the Mario movie was one of the raptors from Jurassic Park that one of the messed up clones from Jurassic Park they dumped on Mario. That's what happened. Yeah. But I'm definitely looking more forward to the video game movies than the Lion King movie. Although I am looking
I am
forward
too, to be
to.
honest.
I
Because,
am.
like, with the Lion King, go ahead.
Now you go ahead, man. I keep cutting you off.
I was gonna say, with the Lion King, you know what you're gonna get when you go in there, but with Detective Pikachu and the Sonic movie, you don't really know what you're gonna get. So at least it's like a mystery and we're checking out. But Lion King, you know how it's gonna start, you know how it's gonna end, you know how it, it's basically a CG version of the original that everyone has seen, but we've never seen a live action Pokemon movie. We've never seen a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. So honestly, between those and The Lion King, I think those are worth checking out for
Oh,
sure.
oh god. I just had the perfect idea for Lion King on how to make it amazing. Which,
Huh.
okay, you remember the Maleficent movie where they tried to make Maleficent the good guy?
I actually haven't seen that, but my
Really?
cousin is in love with Maleficent. Yeah,
Like,
I'm actually going to be seeing that. I'm actually going to be going to Orlando for Christmas and spending the holiday with them. So maybe me and my cousin, who's obsessed with it, maybe we can watch it together.
good for you, man. Yeah, you actually live a lot closer to Orlando now, don't you?
Yeah, and yeah, and that's why I'm like so happy that I'm here because once Super Nintendo World opens, I can literally just hop on Greyhound and you know 2 hours later I'm in Orlando and I can go check it out. Versus if I was still in New York, I would have to wait and have the money to fly down to Florida or California to go check it out. But
Right.
honestly, it's literally just right outside my back door.
Yeah. Lucky you. I gotta head
Yep.
back to New York. Rochester is killing me inside. Yeah. Anyway, back on topic, the Lion King movie. What I would actually love to see them do, they should make it where Scar's the hero, and just rewrite it so they're all the Lannisters from Game of Thrones. Like, make Simba Joffrey, then Scar can be Tyrion. We can see him put on trial for killing Mufasa. That would be an amazing film. And then get Peter Dinklage to do Scar.
That'd be an interesting take. But when you think about it, Lion King is basically a retelling of Hamlet with animals.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah,
Like, not even subtle either.
no. And then the sequel, Simba's Pride, is the retelling of Romeo and Juliet with animals. So
I mean, the original
I don't
animator
know if
ripped off Shakespeare. Why not rip off George R. R. Martin for the new one? Yeah.
But I think like Shakespeare is just so woven into the Lion King canon that if you try to work with something else, it would just not work.
Yeah, I guess. Alright, we have a little bit of time before I gotta head out to work, so last topic, you just brought up Super Nintendo World,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the biggest news, in Japan at least, the Nintendo World theme park has actually just started their construction. They recently had the groundbreaking ceremony. So
Yeah, and they also just did in California too. But from what I've heard, here at home and on the internet, I haven't heard anything about them breaking ground in Orlando yet. So I definitely know that they've started in Japan and in California, and they're trying to finish construction in Japan right before the Summer Olympics in 2020. And then I guess California is going to be opening up shortly afterwards, and then they haven't given an exact release date um on ending up. So
oh man,
it looks like that's going to be last, but I think it's going to be like in 20. It's going to be open no later than 2022.
Yeah.
That I know.
Oh god, I kind of hope they're making Nintendo World to host the Olympics, because the Olympics actually kind of destroy economies because they
Yeah,
focus on
yeah.
building such large
Especially
stadiums.
especially with Rio de Janeiro, I know that that sparked a lot of outrage because
Oh yeah.
they're spending all of that money on building the venues when there was a lot of poverty in the surrounding areas. Like, why couldn't you have spent that money, you know, helping out, the citizens and improving their lives instead of building all these fancy venues, which would eventually never be used after the Olympics are over.
Yeah, and now if you check out the stadium and everything, it's this really haunting image because it's covered in vines and it's all ruined.
Yeah.
But again, Nintendo World in Japan, that's actually the perfect opportunity. You can just host the games there. It's already construction for a long-term project anyway.
And I was thinking too, it would kind of be fun because they have the Mario and Sonic at the Olympics, so it could kind of tie in with that. Now that I think about it, I don't think they did a Mario and Sonic game for the Winter Olympics in South Korea, did they?
I don't think so.
Which I was surprised about because the Switch was out, so they could have had a Mario and Sonic game for the Switch, but I think the last one they did was the one in Brazil for the Wii U. So I was actually kind of surprised that they didn't do a Winter Olympics for the Switch.
I mean, I can kind of see that, because either one, they're getting rid of the Olympic Games, or two, because the Switch, especially at like the early release, was so concerned and so like cautious of quality control. I could see them just going, okay, we just need to focus on a few games at a time. What's our big sellers? So Breath of the Wild, and then just have Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games get swept under the rug, just because I doubt that's a huge franchise for them.
No, and plus I think that Sega's mostly in charge of development for those games.
Which would
like, I'm pretty sure that
explain why it's not on Switch. That would definitely explain why it's not on Switch then. Yeah,
wait, why would that explain?
Because they were like being so protective and quality control, and Sega isn't exactly known for their quality control.
Well, I mean, they came out with Sonic Mania and Sonic Forces, so I guess I don't really see why Sega couldn't do a Mario and Sonic. But then again, as you said, there was the quality control with Nintendo, and Sega collaborates with Nintendo, you know, to produce the Mario and Sonic at the Olympics. So
yeah,
I don't know, maybe it was just something on Nintendo's end where they said that they wouldn't do it, and they would focus more on their titles versus collaborating with Sega on a Mario and Sonic at the Olympics. And I'm pretty sure that Mario and Sonic didn't really do good with sales. Like, they did okay, like, but they didn't like meet like Mario Odyssey or Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
In terms of sales, for sure. But like, I can see them. Go ahead.
I'm curious how that would play out on the Switch, though, because Wii U was not exactly what I'd call a successful console for Nintendo.
No.
So it's hard to say exactly for terms of sales on that, as compared to the Switch, which is a huge console.
Right. But the reason why I was surprised that they didn't put a Mario and Sonic at the Olympics game for the Switch is because the Switch actually utilizes motion controls now. And I think that's why the 3 on the Wii, you know, did so well, is because they utilized motion controls, which kind of did well with the, it just was a good mechanic for the Olympics, you know. So I was surprised they didn't utilize they didn't utilize what they did with the Wii for the Switch.
Yeah, but see, now, I don't really think that motion controls have been dumbed down a lot for Switch as opposed to Wii U, because what do you really use them for? Like, I know Mario Odyssey used them, Breath of the Wild used them for a couple of puzzles and the bow and arrow.
And
I
know that it's
Go ahead.
I know it's used a lot for Mario Tennis Aces, because I know that we had a gaming event here in Pinellas County, and I went to it, and they like brought out it was a showcase of all the Switch games, and it was like a couple of days after Mario Tennis Aces came out, so there was, a huge promotion of that at the event, and I actually got to try it, and I know I was using the motion controls a lot for Mario Tennis Aces, so.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I tend to overlook like the party games, like Mario Party or the Mario Tennis. So those, of course, use a lot of Switch controls, which actually maybe that's why there wasn't an Olympic Games on the Switch, because they wanted to really just handle and test how the controls work themselves firsthand. And if it's Sega managing the production of the Olympic Games, then them handling it and them introducing the motion controls to the public would probably not be the best idea.
Right. Yeah, because I know that Sonic and the Secret Rings, that was like the first Sonic game on the Wii, and I remember I hated the controls on it because like all you basically did was just tilt the Wii remote back and forth to move Sonic. Like you didn't actually like make him jumped. It was like time jumps. Like it really, I don't know. I just remember I really hated the controls in that game. I don't know if you've ever played it.
I've seen Game Grumps play it, and did not entice me to play it. Yeah, a lot of like Sega motion control games are more specific to Sonic ones. Like there was Secret of the Rings, The Black Knight. They did not really handle controls well, from what I recall. Yeah.
Honestly,
Sorry, man, you're kind of cutting out right now. Hang on.
Unleashed, but of course you had the motion controls for the sword, and I just remember the motion controls being delayed a little bit with Sonic and the Black Knight. Like,
yeah. But anyway, weren't we talking about Nintendo World? How do we get this off topic?
Yeah, we were talking about how we were talking about that, and like how you thought it would be a good place to it would be a good place for them to hold the Olympics in Japan. Right?
Yeah.
Is that what you said? Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, Nintendo World and Super Nintendo World, they're finally coming. I'm going in mostly clear about this. Like, I'm not too sure what rides they have planned or what exactly their production's going to be like. How about you?
Well, again, we don't. It's like the Mario movie, where we don't really know too much about it. Like, all we know is that right now they have a Mario Kart themed ride planned. I believe a Donkey Kong one where it's based on the Mario Kart levels, and then they published something a couple months ago where they're actually going to have a Zelda themed portion of Super Nintendo World. But other than that, we don't really know much else.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I remember when I was a little kid, I would draw pictures of a hypothetical Nintendo theme park. So when they announced that they were going to do Super Nintendo World, I was just so excited because it was like my childhood fantasy coming to life right there.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a
so
great idea.
I'm honestly really excited about this addition to Universal Studios.
Yeah, so I don't know how large the one in Universal Studios is gonna be, but from what I've gathered, the one in Japan is like a full-on park. Again,
Wow. I think I think the one in Florida is going to be about the size of the Harry Potter park in Universal. Now, I haven't been to Universal in. I definitely know I was there when I was 10, but I don't think I've been there since. So it's been 15 years, and they didn't have the Harry Potter, the world of Harry Potter back then. So a lot has probably changed since I was last there. So I don't really know how big the Harry Potter park is. So
right, and again, this is like part of the cautionary aspect of it. Like Harry Potter, that is a single sort of storyline, where again, Nintendo, that has a lot of different properties with like a lot of different worlds to it.
Right.
But I am very curious to see what they can do, because again, this is a great idea. There is a lot of potential for a really awesome theme park.
For sure.
Because again, there are a lot of elements and a lot of like history to pull from that will translate great. Like the minecart ride would be amazing. I'm sure Bowser's Castle would be an amazing ride. Trying to think what else. I know Mario Kart, that would be a good. I'm curious if Mario Kart's going to be like a go-kart sort of racing, or bumper cars, or just a full-on roller coaster.
I can see it being a full-on roller coaster. What I really want to see is I want to see like a 4D like motion. So you know, like those like moving theaters.
Yeah.
Those moving theater attractions that some places have. I would really like to see one of Star Fox where it's 4D, and it has like the full voice acting with the actors from Star Fox 64 and everything.
That would actually be pretty awesome. But
yeah,
I'm curious. Like, I don't know if this is like a possibility or if like anything like this has been done, but for the Mario Kart one, I would love like a live action Mario Kart track where you're driving the go-karts, then just like having digital things where again, you can have certain platforms you drive over to be the boxes and start the random generator, and then I'm trying to think of how to explain it. Sort of like a virtual simulation of turtle shells that you can throw, and then having computerized carts that can actually register these.
Right. So, I think that's what they have planned with the Mario Kart themed attraction there.
And I would love to see that, because I can't really think of anything like that per se, at least in the parks I've seen. But again, this is something I am looking forward to. I think this was a lot of kids' fantasies, especially from 90s kids like us.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I would draw literal pictures of a hypothetical park. I remember I drew like a Yoshi merry-go-round, which, interestingly enough, was in Mario Sunshine, if you remember, in the Peanut Park level. They actually had a Yoshi merry-go-round, and you use that to gain entrance into one of the secret worlds.
Yeah.
I just remember the Yoshi merry-go-round that I made. And then I think I just
an Yoshi Island water park type ride.
You know what? I can see a Splatoon attraction where it's kind of like a paintball kind of area where people just take paintball guns and shoot each other with paint.
Yeah, that would probably be one of the easiest things to do, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I am curious to see what they'll end up doing. I'm really looking forward to it. And I really don't have anything else to say until we actually see, like, maps of it. But
Right. Like, I actually have seen pictures going around on the internet of a map of Super Nintendo World, but I'm pretty sure it's fake. Like,
yeah, it's just like a bunch of CG models, isn't it?
no, but like they like have a map of Super Nintendo World, and it has a list of attractions. Like they have Wario's Gold Mine, they have Wario's Gold Mine, they have Nintendo Land. You know, the actual game Nintendo Land is like the center hub, and they had like Zelda, and they had something about Star Fox, and they had a Mushroom Kingdom area. But it just looked like somebody took a map and just photoshopped logos on it.
Yeah.
So I'm not really convinced that it's the authentic one.
Yeah, not until it, like, an official announcement from Universal. Until
Or
then.
Nintendo. Well, yeah, it would be from Universal.
Right.
For sure.
But, like, I think my biggest fear for this park is, again, like, Pokemon is so, like, associated with Nintendo, but it's not a Nintendo-owned property.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine a lot of kids just wanting to go there for Pokemon, not realizing that, and being so devastated.
I think most people know what they're gonna get with Nintendo World. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people really think Pokemon is Nintendo because, like, I think that's one of the reasons why Goku is one of the most requested characters for Smash, is because a lot of people see Pikachu and they are mostly familiar with Pikachu in the anime, and they'll really think of Pikachu as a Nintendo property. So they're like, okay, if Pikachu, an anime character, is in Smash, why can't someone like Goku be in Smash? And, you know, they don't really know that Pokemon is a Nintendo property, you know?
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, I am looking forward to this park. I'm totally excited for it.
Yeah, and the good thing is that I'm like literally 2 hours away from Orlando, so
Well, I know
I can
when
go
I'm
visit anytime I
visiting
want.
you. Yeah.
But yeah, you should definitely come down. When it opens, you should definitely come on down here and we can go check it out.
Will. Hopefully by then I'll just have a license. I'll be able to drive us there instead.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, because I don't think I'm getting my license anytime soon. Like, people ask me if I'm ever gonna like get a license, buy a car, and I'm like, no, because it's easier to spend $85 a month on a bus pass than it is to maintain a car and get insured and pay off car loans. So,
like 80% of the reason I don't have a car is just like budget reasons. That's between gas and the monthly payments and insurance. That's like a $300 monthly payment I definitely can't afford.
right. So it's just easier to just, you know, buy a bus pass that's $85 every month, and that'll be then that's what I take to work, and that's what I take to different parks. That's what I take to beaches.
Right. Alright, man. I gotta start heading to work. Thank you so much for doing this with me, man. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no problem. I really enjoyed this as well. So maybe we can do this again sometime.
Definitely. What I'm hoping to do once I get like in the hang of this and in the flow, I'm hoping to do it like as every other week, with like rotating between this and a live stream of my drawing.
Oh, okay.
but I have to be able to like find topics to talk about first. So
Yeah, and plus I gotta see like what my work schedule is, because like right now we're in our slow season, so aside from doing volunteer work with husbandry, I don't really have any education programs going on, but I know once we hit January, we're going to be starting back up again, so.
right. But what I'm hoping is
So,
that I'll be able to do this like later at night, like before my work starts, but after most people get home from their work.
yeah, the thing is that I work evening programs, so they start at 7, and I stay overnight at the aquarium, and then I don't clock out until like 10 that next morning, so.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised by the amount of people in my life who work night shift, actually. Or at least the later shifts.
Hey, it's convenient.
Yeah, it is.
It gives me time to kind of do my own thing and then go out to work and spend the night sleeping with fish, literally.
Alright, well, we'll figure something out for this. But again, thanks again,
Yeah, for
man.
sure.
This was a lot of fun. I'll catch you later, and anyone who actually checks the stream out, anyone who's actually been watching, I've left a link to my Instagram and my YouTube channel for more like actual art of mine or videos of my drawing. But thanks to anyone who came to check this out, and I'll catch everyone later.
All right. See ya.
Later, man.